Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for the brand new video, and as you can see we are once again back in black, hopefully dressed for the occasion that should see the end of Russell Martin's reign at this football club, and we are dressed for what will hopefully be the funeral of Russell Martin's Rangers career, as I didn't like it as a player and I absolutely despise it as a manager. You know what I mean? Somehow he's got worse than he was here when he was wearing a pair of boots. Now he's got a pair of brown brogues on and somehow even worse. But again, as a fan base, none of this should come to surprise as we as a fan base voiced our concerns when the rumours started to percolate and the rumours just wouldn't go away, as everyone was absolutely terrified. A guy that couldn't handle the physical demands and the mental demands when he was here as a player. Wouldn't he probably be able to put the pieces together in terms of a dugout and lead a bunch of Rangers men today, something that he never done as a player, and that's be a success. So it is a very, very weird situation to find ourselves in, but the massive gamble, the massive risk has clearly never paid off, as we're here not only to talk about Rangers 0, Hearts 2, and a game of football that sees Hearts sitting 9 points clear of us. It's mid-September. Not only that, we're here to talk about a team that's 10th in the league, that's winless in the league, and has somehow lost every bit of European spark under the management of Russell Martin, as he's even got us humiliated on the European stage, which was almost our saving grace away for our frustration. The absolute dismantling of everything this football club is at the hands of Martin in such a short period of time, and all that positivity, the excitement and the enthusiasm that was there just a couple months ago, it's incredible how bad of a job this man is actually done. But surely after all that, and having to spend a game of football pretty much singing his name and telling him to get the you-know-where, Rangers makes a decision that clearly needs to be made, and that is to move on. Because if we aren't, ladies and gentlemen, how low are we going to let this season go ahead and fall? Now, before I do continue with my frustrations regarding the Rangers perspective, a wee quick message on Hearts. I thought they were brilliant the day, but if you watch yesterday's preview video, you'll know I thought they were brilliant all season long. I think the job that Derek McInnes has done in such a short period of time is absolutely sensational, because Hearts were always a team that could get hot and score goals and take off and win a lot of games in a row, but if they ever started the game poorly, or if they got stung, or if they conceded first, they very rarely had that little bit of bite between their teeth to come back and win games. But Derek's took his motive, Derek's took his discipline, Derek's took his organisation and planted it, and then sort of evolved it around the attacking flair that they've clearly got, and it's just built a very, very good football team. And that's why I struggle to give sympathy to Russell Martin. Now, I tried during pre-season, I tried to turn my head against everything that was flying, because again, as a Rangers fan, I want to see us succeed, but I'm taking no mere excuses and no mere nonsense now for this man. Oh, I need time, oh, I need this, or Derek McInnes has had the exact same amount of time. He went in to a job. He's got a fraction of the budget that Russell Martin's been able to spend. You look at the difference in that team organisation, how they look for set pieces and how they line up regarding their personnel, how Derek's even tweaked his overall style of football to suit and make his more attacking flair players that he never had at Kilmarnock, how he's made them flourish in that system, whilst again balancing out with the strength of that organisation regarding the back line. And then you look at what we do, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? We travel, we spend money to watch two centre-halves pass the ball from left to right, expecting a team to come out for a trap. It's absolute nonsense, and he's followed behind every new manager in this league, barring the likes of Stephen frickin' Presley. But if that's where we want to put our bar, then I'm really, really worried of what the future's supposed to be and what the future generations are going to experience being Rangers fans. If that's what we have to happy clap, and if that's what we have to swallow, it's absolutely terrifying. This man's getting out-coached and out-managed every single week, no matter the budget and no matter the team, yet we have to go, give him time. Time for what? He is sinking us like a stone in every single department, because the things that he can control in games of football regarding shape, style of play and picking personnel for certain positions, he is failing it at every single point, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? See, if we were playing games and let's say we missed a penalty or something like that, you know what I mean, or we're missing chance after chance, we just couldn't score and we're dropping points that way, that can happen, right? And that's not on the managers, that's then on the players. But you see the lack of life, the lack of directness, the lack of cohesion by anybody on the actual part regarding an ounce shape. You've got Bojan sitting about 60 metres away from everybody else. You're just kicking the odd ball between the centre-halves, left to right, to left to right, and then hitting it into the six to come back. Again, the standard of football is rotten, and it's been rotten since the first domestic game of the season, where apparently he was willing to learn from his mistakes, but he is continuing to do the exact same thing, ladies and gentlemen. And now that the excuses are gone of the window being shut, people's eyes no being on the ball, Raskin's a problem, he's sitting in the stand. Now that every excuse in the book is out of the way, all you're left is watching this game of football after an international break where we got a good performance versus Celtic, in which we never got any shots on target, by the way. But you know what I mean, let's clap that. Yeah, that's good enough for Rangers now, being a duffer team, not getting a shot on target. But after 2 weeks off and plenty of time on the old training park, that's the level we can come out with after having good energy. Oh, the staff love them. Oh, they're really good with the staff. I couldn't care less if they're good with the staff. I couldn't care less how they do dribbling in and out frickin' cones. The only thing that matters is when that whistle goes, they can handle the weight of the shirt and actually perform for the fans. We're not here to watch John Suter and Giga pass the ball 458 times between themselves, side to side to side. We're supposed to be what he said he was going to give us, an attack-minded side. You've genuinely not seen that in any of his games to play. So for me, it's long beyond the new. I was expecting a bad result, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? I kind of had a laugh yesterday when I done the old prediction, just gone for the old win. Because again, even that part of me is like, I'll just try to will some sort of manifestation out there, that's some sort of result, because he has had a wee bit of time. Maybe he will get something out of that, but it's the same absolute dross. And you can even look at the brain-numbing decisions he makes regarding Gasma. Can we just look at the left wing spot? Sorry, I know I'm ranting a wee bit. Let's look at the left wing spot just for a brief minute. And this is on the manager, by the way. We started off the season with young Finlay Curtis starting, scoring, right? That's what happened. He's been bombed out now. We then had Gazma on the left-hand side that was starting and scoring. He's now been bombed out for the left wing spot. He played out of position versus Celtic with his worst performance by far, by the way, last time out on the right hand side. So we come back for the international break, and do we actually go back to what previously worked with either Gazama or Finlay Curtis on that left hand side that starts and scores goals? No, we continue to go with Mikey Moore, who isn't our football player, by the way. We weaken someone and take any potential momentum away, chuck him on a right hand side where he's clearly no comfortable, for a loanee that's done nothing in a couple games. And I know he's an incredibly young player. I'm sure he will have a fantastic career, but I can't get out the decisions. Maybe I am too stupid. Maybe it's above my station of just being a fan. But if I'm watching Curtis start and score, and I'm seeing Gazima start and score, why are we persisting with a guy that's starting and playing poorly on the left hand side whilst actively weakening other areas in the park? But we've done that all season. You look at the midfield spot with Raskin, we've done the exact same thing there. You look at the start of the season with Max Aarons at left back, and then at right back, and then shaking it here. Then you've got Derek Cornelius starring for Canadian side, back-to-back games, back-to-back clean sheets, scoring a free kick goal for 28 yards, and the first team in Canadian history win back-to-back games while keeping a clean sheet. You're talking about feeling good about yourself. He can't get in to start a game of football with the Chuckle Brothers that's been failing this season. The personnel decisions are absolutely criminal, and that's on Martin. And you know, that's almost a weight off the old shoulders, if I'm honest with you, because I've been trying to cling on, and I think me clinging on just even a 0.1% and saying maybe it'll change, maybe it'll click in, maybe we're willing to adjust or change. Anything's just causing me more and more pain. But I'm sitting back now and I'm looking at every mountain, and I mean mountain of evidence that's there during not only Russell Martin's Rangers managerial career, but where he's been elsewhere, and why he got sacked for Southampton, and the style he played and the goals he was conceding earlier. It's the exact same stuff, ladies and gentlemen, and he's unwilling to change, he's unwilling to adjust for what he wants the football to be, and he's not willing to build around players. He tries to build players around him, and that's not a recipe for success, especially in Scottish football. Because if you're going to sit there all damn day, ladies and gentlemen, and again let them pass it from there to there, they'll wave goodbye to the football. They're no bothered about that, and this ideology and this idolism of Pep Guardiola football is going to be the end of this man's Rangers managerial career, which again, yes, Pep Guardiola football dominated the landscape for about 15-20 years, building on that ridiculous Spanish side that won pretty much everything. everything, but we've no got the players, the talent we've got in our trade. Can he do that level, you know what I mean? And if we're actually being brutally fair, Pep Guardiola, despite an unlimited amount of funds and bringing in the best of the very best, he can't deliver success playing that way anymore. Are they winning leagues all the time? No, football moves on. It maybe dominate the football landscape for longer than most little dominant periods of football, but again, eventually everything has its time in the sun. You had the Milan side, you then had Cruyff, you had Sir Alex's side, you even had Arsene Wenger's side for a little, but then you had Pep, then you had the Spanish influence of all that, and that's been ran rampant in football, but that's no successful anymore. There's enough tape out there and there's enough reports out there to know exactly what you play against and what you need today to nullify that, and that's why we're seeing this adjustment. That's why we're seeing fast, direct football, getting players in the box, fire in the box, and the mixer is actually bringing the success. It's not this boring, ponderous football that Timu, Pep Guardiola, is clinging his entire reputation on. And aye, it's just frustrating, ladies and gentlemen, because there's so many things he could be doing or could be trying or building around, but he's not interested in that. He's interested in him, and that's never going to work. So if it's no the day, and if it's no the moron, if it's no if something goes wrong in the Hibs game or a couple weeks after that, it will eventually be one day, as this is only going to end one way. And I feel like every single Rangers fan, every single Rangers player, every single Rangers staff member, and I think every single person on the board as well knows this, but it just shows how long, or it's just a question of how long do they want to take to hold up their mistake and be like, you know what, we've made a really big mistake, and that it's our first big decision, we've got it wrong. I'd respect them more if they'd done it the new, you know what I mean, but I can see them dragging the arse out it a wee bit longer, and that makes me very frustrating, because yes, it's been a disappointing start to the season, yes, in fact it's been an awful start to the season, but you're still in cup, you still got the opportunity. Why wait till you're kicked out of everything before making the decision that needs to be made? But moving away from there, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not just all on the manager, believe it or not, the players have to take at least some responsibility. And where I know people will scream at me, be like, look at the manager's asking them a day, and I get that motif. At the same time, Russell Martin isn't telling the players to lose out on headers. They aren't telling the players to lose out in tackles and get the run around and get embarrassed and fall and take 14 weeks to stand up and run back. Giga, I'm looking at you. He's not telling them to play that as well. Now again, they probably saying to themselves, well, he's gone soon, and maybe they are down tooling, but again, the Rangers fan base is still there. They're still paying their money, they're still travelling, they're still making it away, and they've got a responsibility to give absolutely everything to the shirt for the fans. And for me, they're not doing that. Lost or confused or no, it's surely got to be better than that, especially in terms of work rate. And if it's no, and if it can't get any better than that, then we're in really big trouble considering what we've brought and spent this season. If that's them at their absolute best, by God, it's been a swing and a miss. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, Hearts very good, Russell Martin absolutely dreadful, and the players completely lost and just devoid of any ounce of confidence. So moving away from my overall opinions, let's go ahead and get into this game of football then, shall we? Because if you feel like I've been too harsh so far in today's video, when we actually start to break down this game, you'll understand my frustration and why it's that. Because again, it was an unchanged side, because remember, we played well in our last game. Remember when we never put a foot on the Celtic team? Remember when we never had a shot on target? That's good enough now for this football. Let's champion a draw. Yay! We never had a shot on target. Yeah, that's great. That's how we come in to the game of football. It was unchanged because they played so well, and they started the game of football fresh off the international break, looking at their point to prove. Now the window shut, had a good week of training, they trained like beasts, they tried really hard, they came out flat, lifeless, and were getting ran over by Hearts, as Hearts were the ones that created several opportunities in the opening 15 minutes at Ibrox. Great response, great effort, great work rate, great energy for this team. And I mean, the first 6 minutes told you everything you needed to know regarding the lack of anything in this team. Right, 2 minutes on the clock, Soapy just comes out just as a stupid challenge, needless challenge that gives Hearts an opening to throw a ball into the mixer, which again is one of our biggest weaknesses. So they chuck it in to the mixer. That, to be fair, Asgard gets up, headers it well, but did you see your response to that header? Everyone just runs. Nobody's looting, nobody's marking, nobody's even checking to see where the ball's gone. It's like, oh, Asgard's headed it, I'm going away. And all Hearts, they chip it back into the box. Suter's not even looking at the Hearts centre-back. He's away here. The ball's here. He's not even looking at anybody's behind him. And the former Rangers man ends up heading on it and hitting the roof of the net rather than the back of the net. But what a warning scare and warning sign that is, that 2 minutes on the clock for the international break. Hearts have a free header 6 yards out. Then the other warning sign came in the 4th minute where Shankland showed how quickly he can get a shot off and how quickly he will pounce on any mistake for John Soapy. Suter has a shot that's simply saved by Butland, I will say that. But again, it's a warning sign. Then, 6th minute, Braga takes Tavernier for a walk. Just runs right by him and Tav's go to pull him down. And did you see the energy? Do you know why I spent so long talking about Braga in yesterday's preview video? Because he just plays that way. You know what I mean? It's like a dug at the park. He's all energy, all go, and it scares me to death because we've not got that. We've got players drilled and supposed to do this. The robots. You be here, you be here, you be here, we'll pass it here. They just go where he needs to go, and Braga's certainly a little ball of energy for Hearts. And again, Tavernier's got no pace to keep up with him, so he just pulls them down. Now from that set piece, is actually defended brilliantly again by Asgard. Scores 4 goals for Norway, but now he's a centre defensive midfielder as it ends up doing a brilliant block to Devlin, which I then believe was given as a free kick. But I think if that ball went into the back of net, there wasn't any free kick. But again, in saying that, VAR was very, very inconsistent today. Now, I intentionally didn't speak about VAR or the potential phantom calls that we had today till this point in the video, because I didn't want to come out and start speaking about the clear mistakes that was there the day, or it sounds like I'm just making excuses, because to me the team and the manager doesn't deserve any excuses. But if we're here to talk about the football, which I think people that's watching this length in to the video is actually here for a football conversation, you've got to say, despite how bad we were the day, that every day of the week is a handball. And I am absolutely amazed that Hearts didn't get this goal chopped off. Right, I've got nothing wrong with the finish, right? Because Shankland handballs it, runs, plays a beautiful blow to Braga. Braga runs away. You've got Suter trying to run and catch him. He's running in treacle. You've got Giga just walking about, ball on his arse. You're like, oh, are we doing the tour again? Can we do the wee walk-in interview? He's heads away, right? So I've got no problem with what happened after the handball. Brilliant for Braga, superb for Shankland on that left foot from a tight angle. Dare I say there's no centre forward in our forward line that can do that finish, especially on these weak foot. So nothing for that. I'm taking nothing away. But if you have to scroll back to the way this attack actually happened, there's clear handball. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when Lawrence's foul on Callum McGregor 30 seconds before we put the ball in the back of net versus Celtic a couple seasons ago, chopped off because that attack started with a foul. Well, doesn't that attack start with a handball? So why is that different to that? Can somebody let me know? Again, I'm not trying to make excuses for how bad we were today. I know we were rotten, but that's got to be a handball, and that's about as clear as a mistake you're ever going to see. Unless there's something I've missed in terms of the rules, you can let me know down in the comment section below. But how's the ref missed that? How's VAR? Now, I don't know how loud this came across depending on which service you were using to watch the game if you weren't at the game in football. But the second the goal was confirmed by VAR, the stadium exploded with a version of the Nico Raskin song, who was actually at the game, by the way, probably having the greatest hate watch of his entire freaking career. Every result, every lifeless game, Raskin's looking better and better and better with the decision that's been made to axe him for this team. But Russell Martin then comes out, tries to throw the all that crap, gets booed. The Stein end up singing Martin, get to, you know what, that I can't say on YouTube, or it demonetises absolutely everything. Or I would sing it, ladies and gentlemen. I did sing it, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so that's what happened with that. Then boos, slow, boos, slow. Suter's got the ball. Suter's ran into a corner. Suter's lost the ball. Hart's got the ball. They've chipped it in. They've went close again. They've got another set piece. They've went close again. And then you're talking about 30 minutes on the clock and all you've heard is boos. Then Tello Asgard picks the ball up about the 36th minute and I think does try to cross it to the back post. But it's just one of the ends that looks like it's curling into the back. And it's very reminiscent of Cantwell's cross versus, was it Dundee last season? Or, not the last again season yet, would have been. These all starting to blend in, you know what I mean? It's painful up here. There's just numbers and stats. Look, there's Derek Cornelius's, there's Chimetis in there. But it's very similar, but this time where Cantwell's hit the underside of the bar and went in we didn't have this luck, as I think the goalkeeper ended up doing a fingertip save. Brilliant save, and if it is an effort for Asgard, fair play to the big man. But again, from the set piece, it's absolutely wasted. Again, did we get a single header apart from Derek Cornelius in the second half for any of our set pieces? But yeah, we're working on them. More and more boos, more and more slow football, more and more lifeless football. Hearts have a couple of wee opportunities to counter a game regarding Braga, but they sort of all play out. Then we have our only real couple chances of the rest of the first half and arguably rest of the game, if I'm honest with you. As Bojan Majowski nearly gets onto a rebound as Dio dives into a slide challenge. It ricochets up. Bojan tries to get his head on it, but there's no pace on the ball. And then Gazima, who was playing on the right wing dreadfully, by the way, goes to the left-hand side, picks a ball for 30 yards out, has a shot that's well saved by the goalie, and I'm just sitting shaking my head like, look, that's what he can do when he's played in the right position. But Martin's got to have Martin's way, and if you didn't agree with Martin's way, you sit in the stand like the Players' Player of the Year. But anyway, half-time comes, the boos come, the frustration. But again, there's just so much confusion in the fan base because we sit and we watch and we don't know what we're watching. We don't know what the shape is. We don't know what the plan is. And we don't know if the players know what they're supposed to do. So it's just a really, really ugly point of view. And I was fascinated to see the changes at half-time. And the changes did come, to be fair, to Russell Martin. And those changes were Ant-Man on for Mikey Moore, who I've not spoke about too much in today's video, but he was absolutely rotten. You know what I mean? He just was, you know. He tries his best, he runs about. I imagine there's a clause in his loan contract that forces him to play a certain amount of games, but by God, can we not do that as a substitute appearance? Because the kid's not ready, especially with how bad we're playing right now, and especially considering the form of other players and the fact that we're weakening players to play him in that role. It's just setting up to be a really, really ugly situation, and dare I say another needless ugly situation. But that's what we create away at the park, so we wonder why there's so much disharmony regarding the team. Is anybody paying attention? But the young kid comes off rotten, absolutely. Ant-Man comes on, hoping to see what we've seen before Russell Martin got his hands on him. We never really seen it, barring one decent run. And then Derek Cornelius comes on for Giga, who again gave us about as much effort as Max Aarons did versus Club Brugge. And I was excited to see the big man, and I thought he went very close with a header. He'd done a couple key passes, some rough passes, but again, it was nice to see an actual left-sided centre-back as Soapy moved to the right centre-back spot. Now, did Soapy get moved to his primary position alongside Tavernier improve anything? No, really, but again, at least it gave us some resemblance. A balance, at least. I'm having to hear cheerlead balance strips. That's how far we're falling. Now, just before a substitution is made regarding Connor Barron, they do whipping across from the right-hand side. Tavernier gets under it. It drops to, I think, Braga, who has a shot that, to be fair, is cleared by John Soapy Suter. I'm not sure if it's gone in or no for the angle, but again, it looked like a good piece of defending for the big man. And again, Tavernier getting caught at the back post. Like, oh God, what year is it? It could be many. So we needed another substitution because 15 minutes goes by like that. Time flies when you're having fun. That game lasted 4.5 hours. But eventually Joe Rothwell came on to Connor Barron, and Barron looked raging going off. I'm not sure if he went up the tunnel or if he just frustratingly sat on his seat. I couldn't even quite figure it out, but he looked absolutely raging. I'll give him that. But to be fair, I thought Rothwell, now I might be wrong, I thought Rothwell was really good. You know what I mean? That's his best performance in a Rangers shirt by far. Then he injured himself, and you're like, oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's okay. But before Rothwell injured himself and ended up having to go off the park, he did pick the ball, play a beautiful ball to Dio. Dio then plays it to Ant-Man, who runs into the box, forces a good save for the keeper, and Asgard's snapshot is blocked well by Big Hockey regarding the back line. Asgard then does some beautiful touches well to set up a Tavernier shot that unfortunately is really wide, but at least we're actually creating things. Now again, we've had to wait for the Hearts team to start blowing their arse out so we can start developing and getting aggressive in the game, so I'm not going to get lost at, oh, we're good for 10 minutes and a 2-0 loss versus Hearts. But again, at the same time, that's the type of football we've been led to believe we'll see. And I thought Asgard was involved in everything, and Rothwell again. And Rothwell has to have an assist to his name here. He actually plays a beautiful ball originally to Gazima. Gazima's on the left hand side, and guess what? He's playing well and looks like a footballer. Again, he then plays it to Rothwell. Rothwell, gorgeous ball into the mixer. Asgard there, Dio's there. Either one of them's got a touch, it's in the back of the net. But unfortunately, we are sitting here frustrated, so that means neither of them went ahead and took the golden opportunity that was brilliantly created by Joe Rothwell and Gazima, who again was starting to look sharp. He was starting to create things. He cut inside as well from the left-hand side, popped another shot. You're thinking, right, the kid's heating up. He then runs down the channel, whips in a couple crosses, but didn't get there, obviously. But it's, again, aggressive, it's fast. It's Gazima looking back to his best. But again, a lot of it was actually starting with Saucy Joe Rothwell. And I was sitting saying, there you are, there's a nickname for the kid, there he is. You know what I mean? Might have Russell Martin here, but I won't hold that against him. And just when I thought Rothwell could spark us and inspire us into life, he overdoes it with a run, ends up injuring himself. To be fair to the guy, he tries to get on, with it, he tries to actually play through the pain, but the substitution needed to be made, and it ended up coming off the old park. Round about this time as well, by the way, there was another substitution made as young Jaden comes off for Chermete, and we got to see what all that money was worth. And now, again, I'm going to give the kid the benefit of the doubt, because that's a bad game to go into, that's a bad atmosphere to go into, and that's a bad run regarding a team in terms of creative and just being good on the ball. It's a very tough scenario, but there was a point to me that sitting glanced at him, sort of taking some of the most horrendous touches I've ever seen since I saw myself try to play football, and I sat and said, is that a real footballer? I'm going back to the infamous quote of Sadiq's that every touch was an adventure. Well, every touch for Chermete the day was an absolute nightmare. But again, to be fair to the kid, tough scenario. I'm hoping it kicks on. But aye, is Kevin doing money laundering? Like, can I ask that? I'll move on very quickly. But again, there wasn't really anything for him to do in terms of the attacking perspective. Even though we had Bojan and Chermete on, there was just no quality. Again, it was just, you go here, just try and do something. And that's never going to work against somebody like Derek McInnes that constantly counter-attacked our moves. And whenever we made a sub, he made a sub. Whenever we made and tweaked and change, he made the tweak and change. And again, he just embarrassed Martin today. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we should get Derek McInnes. I'm not saying that at all. And see, when I praise other SPFL managers, right, I'm not saying, oh, they need to come to Rangers. But you sometimes just have to hold your hand up and give praise when praise is needed. And I thought Derek McInnes coached circles around Martin today. And he showed that with every counter move that he went ahead and done. But thankfully, we do have the ball in the back of net after Gazima hits the post with a phenomenal effort, by the way. I think it's not going to be our day. Then the ball's in the back of net. You think, oh my God, how we got away with that one. And then the referee right away is blown for a foul. And you think, oh God, didn't let it be that, didn't be that. But I'll be honest with you, I've seen this one back. Ladies and gentlemen, it was hard to get away with. And for me, it's just one of the rules I despise. I genuinely despise the protectiveness of goalkeepers. You know what I mean? I know we've been benefiting from one last year regarding Jackie B. I think it was it against Motherwell or was it Dundee United? I remember there was one he got away with, so I understand it happens to every team and goalies are so protective, but this is never a foul on any frickin' day. He actually shoves Asgard, then falls in and flaps at the ball and takes a goal away for Derek Cornelius. But again, for me, VAR's got to correct that and be big enough to make it, but they're not going to overturn the referee's decision when it's a goalkeeper involved because they are so heavily protected. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles regarding football these days. And it's sad because it used to be a physical game. But speaking of physical game, we now have the Hearts penalty. And at first I thought Diamandi was lazy, and at first I thought Diamandi just thrown his leg out because he's blown out his arse and he's done his usual last 50. I think Diamandi's a great player, right? Up to a point. Then the 60th minute comes. Then the 60th to 70 minutes, he almost undoes everything that he'd done previously. And then from the 70th to about the 80th, he's probably the worst player I've ever seen. That's the run, the cycle with Diamandi, in my opinion. It's so weird. So I thought, oh God, Diamandi's just blowing it. He's just kicked the boy. But again, this one doesn't look like a penalty either. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like he makes any contact. Now, to be fair, they did spend a long time checking this one. But again, I think given the fact that the referees gave it, VAR's no want to overshadow that or overturn the referee decision. So they've actually doubled down on a mistake I think has been made. We were pants today. Hearts were much, much better, absolutely. But it doesn't change the fact that I think these decisions were wrong. Shankland steps up, ends up being saved by Jack Butland brilliantly. But again, Jack Butland's sort of luck all season is playing really, really well and being let down by everyone around him. He just saves a penalty there. The rebound falls to Shankland, who responds quick enough, taps it away. There it's 2-0. There's a couple huffs, a couple long balls, couple puffs for Rangers, but it's ended up hurts. It ends up hitting the post in the 94th, 95th minute, I don't know. Trips. It was one of those periods you start blacking out and sort of trying to block out, but it's a great counter-attack. Shankland, he's too slow, he can't do none. Again, just running away for Suter, plays a gorgeous ball, creates another opportunity, but thankfully it hits the post. And that's game, that's set, and that's match. And I really wish it would be the last game I need to speak about regarding Russell Martin, because again, I didn't like being negative, I didn't like sitting here frustrated, I didn't like being this way. I love being able to have a laugh with you and have a joke and talk about stuff and tell wee stories here there about good times at this club, but it's really hard today when you know for a fact the way this has gone. We know where we're going, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean? We're on a skeletric track, just hitting the exact same beats time and time and time again. And Russell Martin ball continues to fail, it will continue to fail, and unfortunately we're stuck in this time loop until the club makes a decision and are big enough to admit they made a mistake to start off their new era at this football club. But that's my thoughts and opinions. Feel free to tell me if I'm completely wrong, and that could be fine. Maybe it is no, maybe the players are crap. You know what I mean? That could be a way you look at the game of football. But again, I look at both, but considering the fact that I see players for their countries play at a completely different way and a different level, and I see players previously play at a different standard that other clubs then come here and look like this, it's really, really hard for me to look beyond the manager, considering he's just saying his greatest hits for his time at Southampton. But aye, with that being said, that's me done and dusted. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. As always, shout out the legends that are signed up to the channel legend memberships. I know it's not the type of video you want your name to be up on, but I'm always grateful for the support you do regarding this channel, as I do for the supporters. And again, everyone that tunes in to these videos, it blows my mind every single season, every single game, having these conversations down in the comment section below. I don't know why you stick with me every year, but honestly, I really, really appreciate it. But until our next video, which will hopefully be a happier one, you know what I mean. I've been Siege Over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye bye.